I think people probably think I'm a jerk, but there's got to be some consequences here.
I think it's funny, and I think it's kind of appropriate. Look, here's the thing. You as a dad, you made every effort, right?
Yep.
And then when all was said and done, you said, search your room again. And did she ever think that it wasn't a room? Like to begin with?
No. One of the things I need to really explain is that the Find My iPhone or find that technology isn't exact. It isn't to the inch of where they are. If you do it on your phone, it may show up a mile from there for like 30 seconds, and then it recorrects to where it is. That's why the last time they registered before the batteries ran out, it showed up on this driveway. And all day yesterday, it showed up on this driveway, this random house south of Ypsilanti, Michigan. And so I drove out to this private property and ended up making a critical decision not to hop the fence and go looking for him. And I'm glad I didn't, because when I got home, she tore apart a room and found him underneath a chair. So how they got there, I don't know. But
how long do the batteries last on the?
They last pretty long, but I don't know exactly because
Your AirPods, what are they?
AirPods.
Yeah. Why do they call them AirPods?
I don't know. I mean, just cause.
But you don't know how long the batteries last on?
I don't know how long they last, but okay. So feedback coming in. What about golf balls hit out of bounds on a private property? Now that you mentioned that, I do that quite frequently.
I won't hit out of there. Pick them up and bring them back onto the course and take a penalty stroke, but.
Yeah, I don't hit out of people's lawns.
No, but only if I can see it. I'm not going to go hunting down a golf ball in somebody's yard. If I see it on the surface and it's, I don't have to jump over a fence to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go and pick it up. But I'm not going to hop a fence, traipse through somebody's garden, and go hunting and looking for a golf ball. That's rude.
How about this? My wife is a professional photographer. I help her out during weddings and other shoots. She has no concern for private property or no trespassing signs. If she wants to use it for pictures, she does. We've been chased off property on many occasions, usually with B taking the brunt. I think he means me. Usually with me taking the brunt of the yelling and screaming while she continues to take pictures blissfully unconcerned.
Yeah, I mean, put yourself in a homeowner's shoes. You'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason to say, get off my lawn.
Yeah, there's a reason it's out there.
Get off my property. It's just not yours. Not public.
Okay, today sort of unofficially begins a second wave of free agency in the NFL. On May 7th, which is today, free agent signings no longer count against the team's compensatory pick formula. So, how you sign a guy and the team that he leaves gets a third-round pick or whatever? That's starting today, that doesn't happen anymore. And, the draft is over. First round of free agency is over. So the belief is this week you'll start to see some signings. The question is, should our Lions get involved, of course? And, Gator, the free agents that are left, I mean, it feels, quite frankly, like a picked-over group. And yet the Lions have some salary cap. Spot Track, which estimates and does a really good job of each team's salary cap, and with all the figures mixed in, has the Lions with $11,757,415 of cap space left. That ranks 10th in the NFL. So, compared to everybody else, that's a pretty hefty number. There's 9 teams with more, but the question is, should the Lions use that money and go after somebody? And look, like I said, does it feel picked over? Yeah. But here are some of the better players available, and let's run down whether or not the Lions should sign any of these guys. On the defensive line, remember there's a lot of talk they go D-line in the first round, and they didn't? Ziggy Ansah is still out there. Ndamukong Suh is still out there. Ziggy is not yet 30. Ndamukong is 32. I mean, he's versatile, and we always talk about how Patricia loves versatility. And he definitely gets under the skin of opponents, and he definitely played well in the postseason last year, but felt like he spent much of the year not really making a massive impact with the Rams, at least the way he once did. Ziggy, we all know Ziggy's story. And, Ziggy is considered one of the more valuable free agents still left. But, again, we all know Ziggy's story. Other defensive linemen, Muhammad Wilkerson, former first-round pick, kind of a hybrid defensive lineman, defensive tackle, defensive end. Again, that versatility that Patricia likes. Benny Logan, a defensive tackle, had a bad year last year with Tennessee, and yet he's considered a pretty good run stuffer. Danny Shelton, another defensive tackle available, and he's another run support guy. All defensive linemen available. Linebackers, Zach Brown, who rated very highly according to Pro Football Focus, but take it for what it's worth, he's available, the linebacker. Nick Perry, linebacker who had 18 sacks in the last 2 years with Green Bay. Shane Ray, who unfulfilled potential out of Missouri, who was a GoPro early guy. Everybody thought he was going to be a stud, and he just hasn't done much yet in the NFL. Had 2 sacks over the last 2 seasons. That's it. Jamie Collins is available. Of course, Jamie Collins was with who, Gator? The Patriots. And then he went off to Cleveland. So you have to wonder if that is something that they would look at. Safeties, Eric Berry. Eric Berry, if healthy, is a playmaking safety. But he's been hurt a lot. He's had an Achilles injury, which is the new knee.
Yeah, it's too bad because he was a spectacular player when healthy.
Trey Boston, safety, 26. Had a good year last year in Arizona. And somehow, I'm not quite sure why he didn't get signed. In fact, I'm not sure he's not the best player left in free agency. Do any of these guys make any sense for Detroit? Any of them?
Not really. Not really. I mean, because none of those guys are an offensive guard.
Well, there is a tackle available, Donald Penn, but he's a tackle. And I don't think he's ever played guard. Let me double check that.
Well, I was doing some digging and trying to find a player that would make sense in what the Lions need that are still available in free agency. And I looked at the top 50 available free agents, and one of them, the top-rated guard, is number 31 on the list. And that's Andy Levitra from Atlanta.
How old is he now?
He's 33 years old, and he's coming off a couple of the last 2 seasons. He had shortened years because of triceps injury. And what Pro Football Focus has to say about him is that if not for the fact that Levitra will be 33 this upcoming season and coming off of 2 seasons that were shortened by a triceps injury, he would find himself much higher on this list. From 2010 to 2016, he played at least 900 snaps and recorded an overall grade of 70 or higher. If he can put injuries behind him and return to that form, whichever team that signs him will get one of the better veteran guards in the NFL.
Look, there's a reason why he's available, right?
Injury.
It's injury. Every once in a while, you have to take a chance.
Yes, and look, I think that's worth taking a chance. It's a guy that's not going to break the bank. You've got money to spend. He's not going to command some sort of like $10 million salary. Take a chance on him. Kick the tires. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well. Then you're back to where you were beforehand. It shouldn't preclude you from, making an overture to a team if you wanted to trade for an offensive lineman, or if someone became available in a waiver procedure after June 1st when players are kind of waived around, or when you get to training camp, players are waived. I think that's one of the reasons they're going to keep some of this money open to be flexible in those situations, and they should. But in the meantime, I don't know if there's any downside to signing a guy who's ranked the 33rd best available or 31st best available free agent.
Cheap, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Atlanta's gone for a total offensive line rebuild. They signed 2 free agents, a tackle and a guard. They drafted 2 offensive linemen, a tackle and a guard. I get the feeling Levitra's become like their Ziggy Ansah, always hurt.
Probably.
And right now, if I said to Detroiters, sign Ziggy Ansah, people would be like, no, we're done with that. And understandably so.
What if we put it in terms that make more sense? The next version of TJ Lang? I mean, TJ was hurt.
I mean, my feeling is every once in a while you got to roll the dice. We'll get to more of this. Your ticket text 97136. Do any of these names appeal, or Do you bank it and try and make a trade? It's Karsch and Anderson, open lines, 97.1.